In this lesson, we are going to learn about binomial theorem. The binomial expansion is given by this equation here. In order to understand the binomial expansion, we will first need to understand these two notation here. Let's start with the first notation, which is n factorial. First, we are asked to find the value of 6 factorial. So the meaning of 6 factorial is actually 6 multiplied by the consecutive numbers until you reach 1. So 6 factorial would be 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4, and you keep multiplying consecutive numbers until you reach 1. So the value of 6 factorial will be equals to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and when you multiply them together, you get 720. Now another way to do this is to use this button here in your calculator. So what you can do is you can press 6 followed by the factorial button here, and you'll get 720 as well. So the value of 6 factorial is equals to 720. Now, why don't you try to find the value of 8 factorial? You get 40,320. How about 7 factorial over 3 factorial? What will we get? Now 7 factorial is equals to 7 times 6 times 5 all the way until you reach 1. And 3 factorial will be equals to 3 times 2 times 1. And you realize that you can actually cancel away the common terms, and you have 7 times 6 times 5 times 4, which will give you 840. Likewise, you can use the calculator and press 7 factorial over 3 factorial, which will give you 840. Now, why do you try the next question here? What is the value of 6 factorial over 4 factorial? Are you able to get 30? Now, let's take a look at the next notation, which is n choose r. N choose r is given by the formula n factorial over r factorial multiplied by n minus r factorial, or it can be given by this formula here, which we'll look at in greater details now. So in this case here, the value of n is actually equals to 7. The value of r is equals to 4. N minus r will be 7 minus 4, which will give us 3. So using the formula, we will have n factorial, which is 7 factorial, over r factorial, which is 4 factorial. And n minus r will be 7 minus 4, which is 3 factorial. So if we press the calculator, we will have 7 factorial over 4 factorial multiplied by 3 factorial. That will give us 35. Now you realize that 7 factorial is actually 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 4 factorial will be 4, 3, 2 times 1. And 3 factorial will be 3 times 2 times 1. You will realize that this will cancel off each other, and what is remaining is actually this part here. So let us look at how this formula here is related to this part. If we look at the formula and apply it directly, the first number for the value of n will be 7. multiply by 6, multiply by all the way consecutively until you reach 7 minus 4 plus 1, which is 4. So I'll multiply until I reach 4. And the denominator will simply be r factorial, which is 4 factorial, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And you will see that actually these two formulas are the same. Now it may seem complicated, but actually there's an extremely easy way to remember this. So how do we find 7 choose 4 easily? So what we can do is, we will start with the number 7 and we will go in descending order 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, for the bottom number, we will start with the number 4 and we will also go in descending order 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see that we will have the value of 7 choose 4 in a rather simple way. And we will have 35 for each of these cases. Now let's try 7 choose 3 together. So we will use the easiest way that we have picked up just now, which is we will start with the number 7 and we will go in descending order 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Likewise, for this number, the value of r here, we will also go in descending order 3 times, starting with the number 3. So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And pressing the calculator, what we will have is 765 over 3, 2, 1. And we have 35. Now, do you realize that these two answers are the same? So, why don't you try 9 choose 5 and 9 choose 4? For 9 choose 5, you'll get 126. For 9 choose 4, you will also get 126. Once again, you realize that these two values are the same. Are you able to see a pattern here? If not, let's try one more time. 5 choose 0. Now for 5 choose 0, you have a problem here because 5 choose 0, you will have 5 factorial over 0 factorial multiplied by 5 minus 0, which is 5 again factorial. So what is the value of 0 factorial? In order to find the value of 0 factorial, well, an easy way is of course just to press calculator and you will realize that 0 factorial is actually equals to 1. Now, why is that so? Now, let's do a very simple exercise here. Let's start with 4 factorial, 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial, and 0 factorial and see if we can find a pattern here. So 4 factorial, we will have 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And 3 factorial will have 3 times 2 times 1, followed by 2 factorial, 2 times 1. 1 factorial will just have 1. So what is happening here is that from here to here, we will divide by 4, okay, to get the next value. So from here to here, if I divided by 3, I'll get 2 factorial. So from 2 factorial, if I divided by 2, I'll get 1 factorial. And from here, if I divided by 1, I should get 0 factorial. So 1 divided by 1, I will have, yes, I will have 1. So 0 factorial is actually equals to 1. So what will end up here, 5 choose 0 will simply be 1 here. Now what about 5 choose 5? We will have, go down 5 times. And for the denominator, start with 5 and go down 5 times. And we'll have 1 as well. Are you able to see a pattern now? Yes, the pattern is, if let's say I have 9 choose 3, the value should be the same as 9 choose 6. 7 choose 4 should be equals to 7 choose 3. In general, n choose r will be the same as n choose n minus r. Now what do you think is the value of n choose 0? So we can have 10 choose 0, 9 choose 0, 8 choose 0, and so on. And we will always get the same value. And the value will be, yes, n choose 0 will always be 1. Now what about n choose n? Yes, it will always be 1. So for example, we have, let's say 10 choose 0. That will give us 1. And in this case, let's say we have 7 choose 7. We will also get 1. Now let's express the following in terms of n. So what is n choose 1? So n choose 1 will simply be n over 1. So we will only do this once at the numerator and once at the denominator, and this will give us n. What about n choose n minus 1? So we will have n as well. Why is that so? Because just now we learned that n choose r is actually the same as n choose n minus r. Again, what it means is that if I have 10 choose 4, it will be the same as 10 choose 6. So n choose n minus 1 seems complicated, right? So what we can do is, it should be the same as n choose n minus 1. Okay, because this is our r, right? So we have n minus r. And that will simply give us n choose 1. Earlier, we learned that n choose 1 is actually n. So these two will give us the value of n. Let's look at some numerical examples to see what I mean here. So if I have 7 choose 1, the answer should be, yes, 7. Now in this case, I will have 7 choose 6. And it will also give us 7. Now why don't you try the last two here to express these two in terms of n. So we will do this consecutively twice at the numerator and the denominator. And let us do that in descending order now. So we will start with n. So what is the next consecutive term here if we do it in descending order? So the next consecutive term will be n minus 1. Alright, so we do this 2 times. Next, we'll do this 2 times as well, starting with 2. So we have 2 times 1, which is simply 2. So n choose 2 will be given by this term here, n multiplied by n minus 1 over 2. What about n choose 3? So we will start with n. We will go descending order consecutively 3 times. 1 time, 2 times. Now what will the next term be? Yes, it is n minus 1 minus 1, so it's n minus 2. As for the denominator, we will start with 3, and we'll go in descending order consecutively 3 times. So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and that will give us n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 over 6. So this will conclude the first part of the video, whereby, let's summarize. You have learned the following. What is the meaning of n factorial? For example, 6 factorial will be 6, 5, 4, 3, all the way consecutively to reach 1. Or you can press the calculator, 6 factorial, which will give you 720. Next, you learn about n choose r. For example, 5 choose 3. So that will give us 5 times 4 times 3. Okay, we do this 3 times. And we'll start with 3 for the denominator, and we'll do this 3 times, which will give us 10. We also learned that 5 choose 3 will be the same as 5 choose, yes, 2. What it means is n choose r will be the same as n choose n minus r. We also learned that 0 factorial is actually equals to 1, not 0. And so, let's say we have 5 choose 0. That will give us, yes, 1. As 5 choose 0 is the same as 5 choose 5. And we can easily find that 5 choose 5 is actually 1. So, in summary, the last 2 part means that n choose 0 will always give us 1, and n choose n will also give us 1.